We're going to be looking at 10 players who have been jumping up the rankings from week 1 due to how they played in the first game of the season. Either they got a lot of looks and a lot of workload, or they started producing, and we got to shine a light on them so you're in the know what to do with these players, whether to pick them up off waivers, get them in a trade, or wait for them to hit and do some more things later on down the road. But we got to talk about this information and about these players today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. You need to give it a good click with the finger on your phone, click with the mouse, hit that button. Stop missing out on this information as we do deep dives on these players every day to give you the information you need to help you win the waiver wire, help you win those trades, help you set those lineups, and help you win your league. But let's dig in. Let's look at today's 10 players. We're going to start things off with Kendrick Bourne. Had a 93.10% route participation rate. Good fantasy production, 24.4 fantasy points. One of the top wide receivers in scoring last week. A lot of people were debating whether or not to pick him up off waivers. Might still be on waivers because you're not supposed to chase the points. You're supposed to chase the workload. We saw a good bit of it here against the Eagles. 20% or more of the routes ran compared to any of the other Patriots wide receivers. So he was getting highly involved in the offense. 11 targets and a 20.4% target share. He was getting used. He was getting used downfield as well. Fun player to watch. Another thing you want to account for is Devontae Parker when he comes back, because he's going to be seeing some of the deep balls. But a hot waiver wire get this week. A player you want to see if something happens with. You don't have to get him. You can leave him there and see what happens. But he is seeing targets. He is seeing opportunity. That could be a trend that we see down the line and may pop off depending on the game script. Next is Michael Pittman. We talked about him before, but I got some more data, and I want to talk about him some more due to that data, and that's because he had an 89% catchable target rate, which is a good thing to see. Getting catchable targets going his way will make him more impactful, make him more efficient. Also, the volume's top tier. You got a 28.2% target share. That's up there with some of the elite wide receivers. If this volume continues, if he continues to run damn near 99% route participation rate, you're going to see him be a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy scoring. Because if he continues with this workload and also the scoring, of course, he's going to produce. If we continue to see this volume in the offense, the Colts passed the ball a lot in this game, but the game script kind of pushed it. But that could be a thing from game to game, though, considering we're developing. We're hurting at the running back position. Jonathan Taylor's out. Michael Pittman is the alpha in this offense. Next, James Cook played 61% of the snaps, had a 69.2 opportunity share. That's the touches and targets. Had a good share of the workload out of the backfield. And also ran on 50% of the routes. That is a good thing to see. Scored 10 fantasy points, so he really didn't go over the moon, but scored just enough to be on your radar. He should be rostered on a team in your league, but he could be a buy low candidate if his manager does not realize he's getting a good workload. The Bills should be pushing the pace. They should be throwing the ball. If he's running on 50% of the routes, that means he should be getting some opportunity in the passing game. He caught 4 balls last week. Something good to see. That's off of 6 targets. The workload's what matters, and James Cook is seeing it. Next, David Montgomery. He's also getting workload. This could be situational dependent, but 78.6% of the snaps played, 70% opportunity share. We should see Jahmyr Gibbs eat into that going forward, at least game to game, off and on. Something should be happening to that, but a player you need to monitor. Something happens to Gibbs. David Montgomery is an easy, big-time riser. We saw him get opportunity against the Chiefs, running it between the tackles. Good goal line back for this team as well. And the opportunity is probably going to be there off and on throughout the season. And the scoring potential is going to be there from week to week too. And you might have some down games. You might have some huge games. And that's the thing about this offense. You got 2 good running backs here. And they're going to be splitting up the workload. But you need to put him on notice. Next, Rahim Sturt. He was out yesterday's practice with a knee injury. That's a concern, but he played in 73% of snaps. He also had a 75% share of the touches and targets out of the backfield. He is their dude for right now, and as long as he's good to go, we should see him get a bulk of the workload out of the backfield, be a huge cog in this machine of the Miami offense here, as they are very explosive. Jaden Reed has been looking good. It was a weird game script against the Bears, as it should have been predicted. 5 targets, 18.5% target share, 93 air yards. So the workload's there. You had a 33% share of the air yards. You're getting opportunity. That's what we want to see. A good route participation rate at 66%. Again, Watson was out, but that could just lend opportunities for him over the middle as Watson stretches the field. Reed is looking good in his first ever career start in the NFL. He's a rookie and is holding a good amount of the workload here in the Packers offense. Jake Ferguson didn't have the greatest game, but the workload was there. He had 4 red zone targets, 7 total targets, and a 28% target share. That is what you want to see from a tight end. You want to monitor his status. He's on waivers in a lot of league, but Dak Prescott likes to target the tight end. He is very consistent at that. Ferguson could give you some good spot production here and there as they figure out the tight end position. But the upside's there as long as he's getting this workload. And this workload should be there to whoever's starting at tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Next, Joshua Kelly. We did a whole video on him, but played 45% of the snaps, 5.7 yards per touch in this game. 5 red zone touches. Austin Eckler's dealing with an injury. That ankle, we're going to have to see what's going to happen with that. But Kelly could be a standalone piece anyway in fantasy as they're getting him more volume. He's explosive, good between the tackles, and they're trying to save Eckler down the line for the end of the season anyways. Kelly could have some standalone games where he's productive, and if something happens to Eckler, it's wheels up for Kelly. Zay Jones has been productive as well, seeing 74 air yards, 33% share of the team's passing air yards on 7 targets and a 21.9% target share. He is getting opportunity. He is out there on 2 wide receiver sets. This team is explosive. Trevor Lawrence looked good. He was wheeling and dealing out there. He's running on 94% of the routes ran in his offense. Zay Jones was a cheap get in drafts. He might be on the waiver wire. He might not be. But if he is, he might be a good stash, a good veteran to have on the back end of your roster here. Next is Jalen Warren. And he's another running back we've been paying attention to as he's sharing the backfield with Najee Harris. Played on 40% of the snaps, 47.4% of the opportunity out of the backfield. That's touches and targets, and a 34.6% route participation rate as Najee Harris saw a 50% rate as well. So being used in the passing game, this was a weird game script against the 49ers. He scored just 6.8 fantasy points, but we want to see what happens with him when the game scripts are more optimal for running backs. We could see him see more opportunities running the ball, and he's being used in a passing game, which is a good sign. Just pay attention to Jalen Warren, see what happens to him. But those are 10 players who are shooting up the rankings, who have a lot of upside, who are doing some things on the field, seeing some opportunities, scoring fantasy points, and are trending up due to the workload metrics. And you need to pay attention to them. You either need to buy them with trades, get them off the waivers, or just watch them throughout the season to see when you need to make your move. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.